Here's the easiest way to make a wireframe render that you can adjust to your needs. How you would do a wireframe render regularly is you'd go into camera view, then here in the show overlays, in the drop down, you would turn on wireframe. And as you can see, this gives you a wireframe preview. It's very thin though. And then you can go to view, viewport render image. Problem with this so far is that we can see the grid, we can see the axes, we can see the origin and so on. We don't want that. In the overlays, turn all of this off. We don't want extras. We don't need relationship lines. Don't need that. Go to view, viewport render image. This gives us a pretty basic wireframe render. But what I discovered recently is if you go to render preview, but that only works in cycles, so set the render engine to cycles. And then if you make a viewport render image, you just see the wireframe. And that is very powerful because now this gives you a layer with just the wireframe that you can adjust however you want. I'm going to show you how to do that later. There's just one more thing we can do is if you scroll down to film and turn on transparent and then viewport render image, this will really just give you the wireframe and you can overlay it on top of your regular render. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to save this just on a desktop for now. And now I'll make a regular render. You can do that in Eevee completely fine. Let me render that real quick. Save as. And voila, now we have the regular render, we have the wireframe render. One more thing, if you want the full wireframe, so also the backside, what you can do is here go to the object properties and then in viewport display as, you can select wire. And if you were to do a render now, it will also show you the backside. That is something that was pointed out to me by Valeofhearts. You can find them on Twitch, on Twitter, and other social media. I'm gonna link it all down in the description or in the little eye in the corner. So thank you very much, Vale. What I want to add on top is if you have multiple objects in your scene, if you want the wireframe to appear on certain objects only, then turn off the wireframe preview for all of them and then select the one you want the wireframe on. In the object properties, scroll down to viewport display and then toggle wireframe. This will give you the wireframe for just this one, as I can show you in a second. Viewport render image. As you can see, it is really just for this one object. Now that we have those two layers, we can go to the compositing tab and bring in our image. So it's as easy as just drag and dropping those two in here. You could also use the render layers, but yeah, we don't really need that. We have both our renders prepared here. So I'm just going to delete this. And here you can see in the background, this is the wireframe, this is the cube. We can use an alpha over node and plug in those two to overlay the wireframe on top of our mesh. But the problem that you can see here is it's still very thin. We can barely see it. And also the wireframe still has the color that we have selected in our preferences. So what you can do instead is put the alpha in here, remove this, and now you can have the color however you want. And now to make it thicker, we can use the delete/erode node. And as you can see, this thickens our wireframe. I don't need it that thick, so I'll leave it like that. Can make it black. I set the delete erode to threshold because instead kind of breaks. So just make sure that the delete erode is set to threshold. And yeah, now we have a wire that we can color however we want. You just overlay it on top of your render and you're good. Just having this layer of wireframe gives you a bunch of possibilities to change it, to make effects with it, whatever. I know the setup is not perfect because you have to set this up in a compositor and you have to render out the wireframe separately every single time. But I think this gives you the power to change it however you want it. After you found this tutorial very helpful, I would appreciate it if you could leave a like. And if you want more tutorials of this kind, make sure to subscribe to this channel. We already reached over 200 subscribers and that is very incredible. Thank you all so much. If you want, you can join the Discord. I sometimes stream on Twitch and you can also find me on many different social media platforms. All the links are in the description. Take care and see you next time.